Welcome back to drchadpeters.com. You are at Chad Knows. We're going to go over some rehab to go. Now, I have done a few things on the Voodoo Band, and they're really popular right now. So I started kind of looking through YouTube and seeing what they had, and there's some good stuff. I don't necessarily disagree with any of the stuff that's going out there. I think there should just be a little bit better way of putting this together. So the video today is to help you guys learn some more about this and get through it. My last couple of videos have got a little bit longer, so I'm trying to go fast. My initial idea was I was going to go through how to do the elbow and the knee and the hip and the shoulders and all that. If you guys want some of that stuff, I would be more than happy to put that together. I want to give you the basics here today, okay? So the terminology with this stuff, you will see this often called in the industry voodoo floss, or voodoo release, or voodoo compression, or voodoo band, slide and glide. We don't care what it's called. I want you to get the idea of what's going on. There are a ton of different companies for this stuff. So you're going to see companies like Rogue, which are very big in CrossFit. Rock Tape makes a really good brand. There's a billion different kinds of this stuff because it's getting to be pretty cool. You'll even see, as I have in the bottom left corner, some guys that use inner tubes from their tires. And let me tell you, I think there are pros and cons for all these. Most of the commercial ones that are out there are pretty good. Compression from a bicycle tire, like, give me a break, guys. These things are not that expensive. You can usually get them for 20 or 25 bucks. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying a bicycle tire tube is built for a bicycle. Get something that's built for your body. These are typically cut in 7-foot lengths. So if you get a huge roll of these things, which are like $100 bucks, and it comes in like a 28-foot length, that's because it's going to be built to be cut and go into 7-foot lengths. So you want to get them done. I don't care what brand you get. Try them out. I have my favorite, and I have it for a reason. You guys figure out what works for you. Now, what exactly is being done? When someone comes in the clinic and I tell them I'm going to start trying this on them to see what's going on, this is the question I got. What exactly is it doing? And here's the thing. There is no exact. There are a lot of things that are going on, and that's where I think most of the videos that I see for relieving knee pain with a Voodoo Band or stop elbow constriction with a Voodoo Band, it just, like, I want you guys to understand there is no exact. There's a lot of things that are being done. You are decreasing blood supply to an area. So you get this ischemic result. The body is kind of starved for oxygen and blood for a couple minutes, and you're not cutting it off. I mean, it's not like tourniquet tight and nothing's getting through, but it's depleted for a little bit. So when you take the band off, you're going to get a big blood rush. You may be using it to grab skin and move the skin around. So we want to go through all that stuff so you get what's going on. There is no exact, which is why it is called a Voodoo Band, because it's hard to get a pinpoint on what's going on. You want my opinion on it? It works really well. I use it in my office. I love these things. Now, as we were talking about the different things that are going on, understand different issues, different needs need to have different plans. So if you have pain, you want to use the Voodoo Band differently than if you're trying to increase range of motion. If you're trying to increase performance with, like, let's say you got a baseball pitcher and he's trying to get his breaking balls to drop more and he feels like he's got some restriction in the elbow, that should not be the same reason you're using it for like a pre-game pump in the gym. So let's have some different ideas with it. So I'm going to go through a few different ones. The first one I want to cover with you guys is not one that I typically see out there. It's stopping pain with a skin grab. So basically, understand that there's way more pain receptors in the skin than there are deep into the muscle and joint. So you can grab the skin, and it's like a great big saran wrap around there. So you can see what I'm doing with this little girl's ankle. I'm just trying to get some motion in there. I'm not even making her move a lot right now. I'm grabbing the band and pulling the skin all sorts of different directions. You can also do that skin grab where you're just wrapping it on and now forcing active and passive motion. So same girl with this video, we are trying to get her to move her ankle better. It's the same wrap, and I'll show you how to do that, but we're trying to get a different result. I'm not doing it for pain with this technique, I'm doing it for range of motion. Now, can you do it for pain and for range of motion? Of course you can. One of the other reasons I see it done is a poor man's plasma-rich injection, right? So you've got like a meniscus issue in your knee, and you want to know, does the Voodoo Band work? To me, it seems like it'd be very difficult to get blood to rush into a knee, especially through the capsule using a Voodoo Band, which is pretty superficial. However, in the clinic, it seems like we get some of that. So we'll have people that'll wrap those things up and they're just like, hey, I don't want to go get surgery yet. I'm not paying for PRP injections. Is this something that you think would help me? Now, are they actually getting pain control? Are they actually getting, more of the range of motion? Who knows what they're going for, but it seems to work really well. So I don't mind people using it like that. I've seen good success of it in the clinic despite me not thinking it would work. Now, you guys have seen some videos of my man Adrian. This is Arnold. This is an Adrian. But Adrian loves to do his for the pregame pump. So I'll see him in the gym. He'll wrap up his quads. He's walking around with it. He gets a few sets of squats, gets some weighted squats, and he's just kind of going through it. He typically does it for about 4 minutes, takes the band off. And I was asking him, what are you doing it for, man? That's not the way I would use it clinically. And he says, I just feel like I get my pump. Like it's kind of like taking a pre-workout, right? I get my pump into my quads, now I can squat more and get it going. So if that's the way you're using it, that's the way I think most people are using it. On YouTube, despite what I would see a lot of the guys saying, hey, here's why we do it, mostly what they're doing is for the pump. The other thing that I really saw on YouTube is everyone's doing it because it's cool. And everyone on social media is doing it, so they want to do it. You go ask your guy in the gym that you see wrapping this thing up, not doing it at home, but doing it where everyone can see him and grunting and walking around for 5 minutes. What are you doing it for? I don't know. I'm doing it because everyone's doing it. I'm doing it because all the guys at the gym are doing it. Well, come on, man. You gotta have a better reason than that. Don't just do stuff because it's cool. Try it out, but let it get going. So the one I want to get into with you guys and kind of go through that I'll do to explain it all is the way we use it clinically. It's for a complete workup for sport specificity. So I took this picture obviously from somebody else's site, but I want you to get the idea. This is for an athlete that is trying to increase their level in sport specificity. That's what we're going to go through the whole workup. And it's a lot better mechanism and system than just putting it on there and moving around. So how we want to apply it is what we want to do first. So let's grab my man Adrian here and watch how you apply it. The rules I use is always wrap it towards the heart. So start distal and move proximal. If we're going to get any more lymph flow, it tends to work better from distal to proximal. So if you're doing it in your forearm, like Adrian is here, you'd start down low and work your way up. If you're going to do it in your calf, start down the ankle and work your way up. If you're going to do it in your quad, knee on up. Get the idea. Once you have it wrapped, our protocol is 3 steps with the band on, 3 steps with the band off, 1 minute at each of these stations. So let's get through and teach you. Station 1 with the band on, range of motion. So I got Adrian here, he's got his band on and he is just going through great big range of motion. If it's first thing in the morning, your coffee hasn't kicked in and you can't even think about how to do a proper range of motion, imagine spelling the giant alphabet out with either your wrist or your elbow or your shoulder or whatever you're using. You want to make sure these joints, especially like the elbow and the knee that are basically hinge joints, you want to make sure you're not just hinging. There should be some twist in there. Take it through every range of motion you can think of. This should be done for 1 minute. Stage 2 is resistance. So my resistance that I like to use is push-ups for the upper body, squats for the lower body. Now when Adrian demonstrated this, he did it on the wall. If you had a lit up forearm and arm, let's say you're a tennis player, a baseball player, and that thing is on fire, do not start them with regular push-ups. If they can't do a regular push-up, don't do it. I prefer them on the ground when they can. I like more resistance when they can. The third step is sport specificity, right? So now we're getting into whatever mechanism hurts the athlete, where he feels it the most. So with Adrian on this one, where he feels it the most is when he's at the gym and he's pumping up CrossFit stuff and he's doing an overhead motion. So we have him wrapped up doing the overhead motion. Let's say you're at a traditional gym and you are feeling it in your elbow with bench press, but you're not feeling it till you get up to 2 1/4 on bench press. You're going to do your range of motion for the first minute. You're going to do your resistance like push-ups for the second minute, and then you're going to get under the 225 bench press, and you're going to do that. Now, very few people can do 2 1/4 for a minute. So maybe you're going to do a set of 3, you're going to rest it, you're going to do a set of 3, you're going to rest it, you're going to do a set of 3. You want that resistance, or not the resistance, step 3, the sport-specific motion, to be when you are feeling it. If you're a pitcher and you're feeling it when you're at 85 to 95% velocity, after you warm up, after you've done your long toss, after you've done your first and second step with the Voodoo Band, keep that wrap on there and start throwing with your velocity to C. Now to maximize the complete workup, don't stop there. We had 3 minutes with the band off. You want to go through the exact same 3 steps with the Voodoo Band off. So it's pretty simple. Go through the same range of motion. Now, if you're a clinician, if you're a chiropractor or a physical therapist or an athletic trainer or a coach, you should ask them as they get the band off and they start going through their resistance, are you feeling better? If the answer is, dude, this is crazy, I feel ridiculously better, then the Voodoo Band is an appropriate treatment for them. If they really don't feel much better, I don't think it's probably a very appropriate treatment. Okay. So this may seem kind of weird. In my clinic, if I suspect they've got an injury that would be helped by a Voodoo Band, I tend to put that on there before I do any other therapies, right? I don't want to have them come in, I've done the entire workup, I've done the stem, I've done the Graston tools, I've done all these different workups on them, and then I put a Voodoo Band on there like, yeah, man, I feel a little bit better, and then I want them to buy my Voodoo Band and go home. If they're going to buy a tool in my clinic, it better be worth something. It better work. So I tend to do it before we do any further treatment. Obviously, it's not the only treatment I'm going to do. This is to see, is there an at-home rehab or rehab to go that would be worth them? Your reminder, it's 3 steps with the band on, 3 steps with the band off. You can get lazy with this and not do it, but I'm telling you, it works better if you do it the right way. This is great for the upper body, right? Your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders. But it doesn't have to be just joints. It works very well for forearms. It works for bicep, tricep issues. It works for shoulder issues. The wrap up for the shoulder is kind of tricky. Because it's only a 7-foot length, you're really not going to be able to wrap up the shoulder like you would doing a tape job. So you tend to get as high up in the shoulder pit as you can. So it's the very upper edges of your bicep. And now you're gonna go through the same range of motions, especially as sports specificity works here. You just can't get it on the traps. You can't get it on the rhomboids the way it's supposed to. It's not gonna work for that. It has to be condensed and it has to be tight. And when you start taking it at different angles, it's not gonna work. Have I seen people do it across their forearms? Have I seen them take a 14-foot section and wrap it all around themselves? Yeah, I don't think you're getting the same thing out of it. There's different tools that you can use to get a similar effect for the area like your traps and your rhomboids and your lats. In the lower body, I love this thing for feet and ankles and heels, stuff like plantar fascia, shin splints. But shin splints, you got to be careful because sometimes nerve decompression works better, right? We've talked about shin splints. If you're interested in that, look at my video on that. Sometimes the decompression works better. If you have an injury that you suspect is nerve decompression problems, do not compress the crap out of this thing. It's the wrong treatment. And I see that in this industry. I see this in all industries. We are doing conflicting treatments oftentimes, and then we're not getting information. Getting back to lower body, it works great for the knees, for the quads, that kind of stuff. You can get it into the hips a little bit, but if you've got monster legs, it's hard to get a lot of wraps like that. Now listen, for the lower body, the resistance stage, stage 2, has got to be squats. Even if it's your ankle. You've got crappy ankle mobility, the squat is still probably your best way to do it. Now for range of motion, make sure you're doing, tiptoes and heel walks and that kind of stuff. And one time in my clinic, like on the last stage here, I had someone say, do you think it would be good for my neck? By no means. For God's sakes, please do not try a Voodoo Band on your neck. That would be a horrible thing to do. You would die. It's not what it's built for. Guys, there it is. I'm going to wrap it up. It's the Voodoo Band. You've got it for some of the skin tugs for pain. You've got it for skin tugs for range of motion. And then you've got my 3-step, actually a 6-step workup to get yourself ready for sports specificity. If you don't feel a change with one treatment of doing this the right way, it's probably not your tool for the job. Find something else. If you wrap it up and it makes the pain worse, you have a compression problem. Do not keep compressing this thing and expecting different results. It's not your tool. Use this for what works. Hope you guys got a lot of information. If you want more on how to do this, what body parts to do it, and the way we like to try these things out clinically, then get to it. If you need more on decision making, when do I know how to do this or how to do that, that will be in my seminar series. That's more for practitioners. That's stuff that we're going to have to be able to discuss in a longer than 15-minute format. Hope you guys like the stuff that we're doing. Please let me know what you're looking to see. I want to get some more content out there to you.